Welcome to the show. Make sure I'm audio and shit right. Something I should have did beforehand. All right, bet. All right, cool. Yeah, welcome to the show. I got a Starburst in my mouth, so there's that. They gave me two yellows. Mm, Well, that one's dead. Wait, who the fuck gives me two yellow Starbursts? Like, how's that happen? All right, a little distracted, but yeah. Wanted to open up the show today talking about a phenomenon I noticed. It's kind of prevalent with cancel culture and shit nowadays. Like it's this instant apology thing. You know, somebody does something, might be wrong, might not be wrong. In any instance, in less than 24 hours, you got motherfuckers over here apologizing for their lives. Now let's think about that. Let's just say I call your girl a bitch. Get your dumb bitch away from me. Okay. Now you get mad because I call your girlfriend a dumb bitch. Which whether she is or isn't is beside the fact, but I call her a dumb bitch. You get mad. You be like, hey man, tell my girl sorry for calling her a bitch. Now let's pause there. Now there's a couple ways this shit can play out. Let's say I do say sorry. Okay, I'm sorry for calling you a bitch. What does that do? Does that actually like change the fact that you've been called a bitch? Are you any more or less of a bitch? Does that mean I didn't mean it when I said it? Like, if I was angry enough to call you a bitch, I mean, it could indicate a problem with me, but something was going on where you was a bitch in that moment. I thought about it. I verified a thought, verbalized it, bitch. Like, or you can say, you can tell you to apologize. You can apologize. You can be like, no, I'm not going to apologize. And then, like, now I guess it's okay for you to be violent towards me. Like, if I'm not sorry, then you get to beat my ass. Like, what is this sorry veil? You know, where everything's okay. Like, oh, you said this. Like comedians. Comedian makes a joke. Ah, your mom's an OnlyFans whore who sucks dick in the back in the fucking alleys of New York City. Ha ha ha. Hey, I didn't like that joke. You need to apologize or I'm gonna ruin your career. What's the apology mean? Like, what does it do for you? What does it actually do? Like, when has sorry ever really like a instant sorry? Unless you're 100% wrong. What's this less than 24 hour? People always give you these glorified ass apologies. Like, oh my God, I realize the hurt and that I've caused and the turmoil that I've seeded by perpetuating blah 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 blah. You know, just sitting on like, what the fuck? Let me take this off. Probably should take that off. What's that really do? Like, think of how narcissistic it is, how childish and petty to like hinge your approval or pass judgment on somebody because whether a motherfucker did something they didn't mean to do or just did something and now they won't say sorry. And now if they don't say sorry, they just falling from grace. Like they don't get to be liked by you anymore. Like you're just chopped liver. It's like that's just a power and control scheme in every sense. To sit here and tell somebody that they gotta say sorry. Like I want you to apologize. I seen this meme. I believe it was a skit now. I've seen this same black dude smacking women all on airplanes and in classrooms and shit. And it seems like it's the same person getting smacked every time. It's like what's so out of place about you where you keep ending up in these debates where you gotta smack the shit out of a bitch? Like why is that a thing for you? But the kicker is the one skit I seen, this dude, I guess he was teaching or something. This chick was on her phone, took her phone. No. Yeah, he took her phone or whatever, and he was in her face. Rah, 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 rah. Boom. So she smacked him. So he takes the smack. He starts making this grand ass scene. So you gonna apologize? No, you should have been in my face. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. You ain't gonna apologize? Okay. All right. Well, see, I'm about to show you something right now. Blah blah blah. All this. So you sure you're not gonna apologize? She said, no, nigga, she meant what she did. So then he smacks her back. And it's like, what do you mean if she does say sorry? Like, you already been hit, bro. Don't you care about a sincere apology whatsoever? Like, sincerity? Like, if you're actually sorry, like, shouldn't you just show me the apology? Shouldn't you just behave like the apology? You know? What's all this narrative? All this talking, talking about how you understand how you deeply offended, and if you did deeply offend them, you're so like, no, you're not. Like, if you did, like, you think you are a human being in Western society today, and you can't tell when what you say is like potentially offensive and outright offensive, or you just speaking your mind. Why should you apologize for saying what you really think? If you issue an apology after saying some controversial shit, who knows what you really think? Who fucking knows? Like, you just apologizing like, oh, I said this, oh, people didn't like it. Well, I didn't really mean it like that. I meant it in whatever way would not offend you guys. It's just bullshit. It's a phony ass thing to do. Now, if you're really sorry about something, I got into an incident like this maybe what, 2, 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago probably was. Working here, some shit was going on, got chaotic. Once all the dust settled, realized I missed my fucking court date. So I fucking tripped. I'm spazzing the fuck out. People tell me like, Chico, man, calm down. Calm down. I'm like, bro, fuck you. You calm down. Why would you ever telling me to calm down when I'm enraged is like the surefire way to guarantee that I'm not going to calm down. That's the last thing I want to hear when I'm worked up. Because if I'm worked up, generally some shit has happened. I don't really get worked up over petty small shit. So when I get worked up, something kind of dire's happened. And it takes me a minute. Sometimes it takes me 10, 15 minutes to holler and cuss and scream that shit out and then be done with it. It's over. But to see me going through it and they be like, hey, bro, you need to calm down. Oh, fucking Einstein over here thinks I should calm down. Like, suck my dick, fuck off. Said all that shit. Said all kinds of things. I'm trying to let them know, like, look, I don't need y'all input right now. Just hang tight. Let me owe this out, and I'll be good. But it didn't happen. And then once I finally did calm down, I'm just basically saying like, hey, I don't do that apology shit. Like, what's the point of saying, hey, oh, I'm so sorry, and blah blah blah. Like, of course I feel bad, but I meant every fucking thing I said. Yeah, I was angry, but that didn't modify the truth aspect. That just modified the delivery. Like, I'm still being honest about it. I said, fuck this shit. I'm not willing to miss my court date. I had no more warrants over near motherfucker for no reason. I don't give a shit. I've been in the legal system since I was 13 years old. I'm done with that shit. I don't need some authoritarian ass fascist fucking regime trying to interfere, especially if I got anything to say about it. Like, I'm in a country where like all I gotta do is obey the law and be fucking left alone. So it's like, why the fuck do I want warrants and probation officers and all this shit? Like, I'm not fucking with that shit, bro. I'm good. You know? So it's like I didn't offer an apology. But what I did offer is to let, the person whom I wronged, the people I wronged, look, I'm aware of what's going on right now. I'm aware I'm a little irate. You know, you have my word that in the future I will take greater efforts to like make sure we don't end up in this situation again. Like, we're not gonna have to. This is unpleasant. It's uncomfortable. And in my opinion, the best way to remedy that shit is to ensure we don't have to do this again. Everybody gets mad. Everybody has an evil, ugly side, especially me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Hell yeah, once I get mad, fuck you and your stinking bitch ass mama. I don't care. Both y'all can die and burn in hell. But I understand that message is not palatable, and a motherfucker ain't don't give a fuck about my attitude. Like, whether I was happy, sad, angry, melancholy, whatever, I said it. So I need to be held accountable for what I said. So it's like, I'm not going to issue you an apology. I'm just going to do better. I'm just going to outright do better. And then it's like, what do I need? Hey, did you notice I did better? Okay, well, I'm sorry. There's no point and just carrying on and carrying on and carrying on. Instant apologies are what phony people do. If you're really sorry about something, generally those moments arise when you've had some time to let the dust settle, you figure things out, and then you look, okay, well, maybe I was wrong. And now that you say it like that, I probably could have done this better. You've thought about it. If you're gonna issue an apology, you should wait at least 48 hours and that's at the fastest. At the fastest. Shit, I might not issue an apology for a month. I need to take back, or sometimes somebody said something to me and it was like, you know what? That was it. This just happened with my mom. I was asking her why my pulse was so high from donate when I would go to donate plasma. Why is my pulse so high? And she was saying, you need to quit smoking weed. And in my mind, I misunderstood. I'm thinking she's going on a lecture about why smoking weed is bad and all this and then I fucking snapped. I'm like, look, I don't really give a shit what you think. I'm not finna quit smoking weed, blah, 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 this, no, blah, blah, blah. You know, fuck you. Not, I ain't even say fuck you. Like, I'm not interested. Like, it's not disrespectful to challenge you, blah, blah, blah. I just went off. Wasn't rude, but it was definitely kind of higher energy. And then these past couple visits, I haven't been smoking weed before I go donate plasma. Like, I go donate, then smoke afterward. And my pulse dropped. So I realized I went off on this whole tirade, this whole shit. And this is like 3 weeks ago. I'm like, hey, I hope all's well with you. For whatever it's worth, I'm just letting you know that I quit smoking weed before I go to plasma. My pulse is significantly dropped from like 110 to like 78. So I want to say I misunderstood. I was wrong. I hope everything is well with you. And I can't force nobody to accept the apology. Like, I've issued many apologies to my mom. So at this point, it's not so much for her to accept the apology. It's just for me to know that, like, hey, I tried to make amends. Not with the intent that anything would be amended whatsoever, but I had some time. I sat down and thought about it extensively, and I've come to the conclusion that I was fucking wrong. I didn't feel wrong up until I had some different mindset. It happens. People, I've rarely, but I've given people second chances or like be willing to brush it under the rug because it is what it is, man. Shit happens. But she didn't text me back, and that's fine. That's another thing about the apologies. Like, nobody ever has to accept your apology, no matter how sincere it is. You could be coming completely from the heart. But like, once you've wronged somebody and you're in a situation where you need to apologize, you're on the comeback. Like, you're hoping to get back in their good graces and their good, and based on that alone, you are tacitly admitting that their good graces is something that's out of your control, or you just be there already. You wouldn't have to do things to return there. Hell, you probably didn't even control the fact that you left. So people don't. I like to tell people, God forgives, I don't, and that's how it goes most of the time. You gotta fucking understand that when things happen, when things are developing, like, you're gonna be held accountable for what you do. Like, you're gonna be held accountable on the fly. So if you think you might say something you're gonna regret, your best bet will be to just separate from the fucking situation. Because once you say it, it's said. It cannot be unsaid. It cannot be unheard. It cannot be forgotten. You know, I got instances in video and shit where somebody would listen to hear what I said, like, they'd hate me. They'd be like, "How could you utter such a phrase? You terrible person. Everything I've ever done, contrary to that, is not going to be factored in. I'm just going to be a fucking monster, and that's going to be the end of it." That's just that. So, instant apologies need to go. Now, if you're really sorry, it's going to show somewhere. And if you just demanded an apology because some shit happened to you, and it's like, you don't even really care about the sincerity of my apology. You just want to, you are in a state of victimhood, and you are trying to flex that shit to the max. It's like, haha, I got you where I want. Now, if you want me to like you again, if you don't want me to rant and complain about you, then you got to do this and you got to do that. Blah, 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 blah. No, we're not playing that game. I've learned my lesson. It's gonna take time for me to show you I've learned my lesson. That's inevitable. So if you're not willing to at least notice some progress and see things are moving in the right direction, fuck it. Fuck your apology. But whether I'm sorry or not, I did what I did. And just knowing the type of person I am, I've already thought about it before I did it, like 90% of the time. So if I did it, fuck you. I don't care. There's nothing to apologize for. And if I gotta accept the consequences for what I did anyways, then what the fuck is an apology? Like, the apology is like, okay, I'm accepting my consequences humbly. What do you need an apology for? You need me to punish and you need me to feel bad? Fuck off. You know? Instant apologies are for phony losers. And if you really are on a journey to like improve yourself and be better, like you would cut out all the talking and dialogue. Fuck all that apology. If you fucked up, take it on the chin, learn from it, and do better. There's your sorry. That being said, let's get to the motherfucking show. All right, so this one is definitely a recurring story. I've came to this multiple times over the past few months as this story developed, and it seems as though we've reached some kind of finality here. There's it's about that kid who tried to sue the school who was allegedly being racist for telling him how they wanted him to wear his hair. Courtesy of CNN, Darryl George was his name. Texas judge ruled school district can restrict the length of male students' natural hair. So before I really get off into it, it's like, did not like just go to a different school. Just go to a different school. Like it's a dress code. Like I've had these discussions with people who act like dress code is just not important. Like who the fuck cares about dress code? Like I should be able to wear whatever I want. It's like you can on your time. Like if you've been hired by somebody to perform a duty of a particular pedigree, like you gotta look the part. Sorry. Like shit, even me walking around with these hoodies and shit, like depending on the type, I can't always, like what if I'm a chef? I can't walk around in no fucking hoodie. I might want to walk around in a hoodie. But I'm around food. I have to wear like chef's clothing. Like there's a dress code for a reason. Even in some restaurants I worked at where the dress code was lax. Like you gotta wear our shirt. You can wear whatever jeans you want. You gotta wear an apron. Like you gotta have it. Even at Amazon, you gotta have your hair tied up. It's gotta be restricted if it's gonna be long. Like dress codes are nothing new. This is nothing new. And this was just you trying to push a woke ass narrative that just wasn't there. Like it wasn't fucking there, man. The energy was not there for this shit. And y'all just tried to force it. Now, let's read this article and hear what they got to say about this shit not panning out. A Texas judge ruled Thursday that the state's Crown Act does not make it unlawful for school dress codes to limit a student's hair length. The decision is a blow to Darryl George, a Houston area high school student who sued the Barbers Hill Independent School District after he was suspended for months over the length of his locks hairstyle. The George family did not make an appearance after the trial, but attorneys for the family said they intend to appeal the ruling. Yeah, well, that doesn't really fucking mean shit. Everybody appeals something. Like if it's like a death penalty case, like they appeal it, they just appeal it and appeal it and appeal that shit into oblivion. Like, what's there to appeal? Like what? Like I don't understand what you're appealing here. Like I feel like the appeal was what got it to the Supreme Court. And now they said no. The highest court in Texas has said no. It's like now you don't want to just keep going over. People do that here at the shelter. Like, yeah, yo, can I do this? Blah blah blah. No, the rules don't permit. Okay, well let me talk to such and such. Like, you can't just keep going up the chain of command until you get a yes. That's not how any of this works. You know, what the fuck is the point of appealing this shit? The decision's been made. You can't. They can all this shit. This kid's been out of school for like 3, 4 months, 5 months for this shit. And then when they let him back to when the suspension ended in like November or some shit, if I'm not mistaken, dog came in there with the same hairstyle. Like his shit wasn't different because they feel like they've been wrong for opening an institution with standards and guidelines. Like, how dare you decide how you want people to look in this bitch? Send them to public school, like send them somewhere else where they don't have a dress code. Seems like that would be the simple solution to me. No, let's take this to the Supreme Court for all the notoriety and funding and any kind of residual shit that you can get from this. Fucking failed. At a news conference outside the courthouse, Candace Matthews, a spokesperson, sorry, got distracted. Spokesperson for the family said George had tears in his eyes as they left the courtroom. She said the family is disappointed, angered, and confused by the ruling. I can totally understand that. I can totally understand the disappointment, the frustration, the resentment. You know, I don't think you need to be crying over this shit. Like, this shit should never have gotten this far. You know? Darryl made this statement and told me just straight up with tears in his eyes. Because of my hair, I can't get my education because of hair. I can't be around other peers and enjoy my junior year because of my hair. Fucking yes. 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 Precisely. That's exactly what they're saying, bro. Why are you not hearing it? Fix your fucking hair. Instead of adhering to the policy, you say there's a problem with the policy. Now this happens here too. People want to like try to covertly like slide under the radar some type of blame, like you're responsible for their shortcoming. There's a rule here. If you want to get into the shelter, you have to come between a certain period of time. If you can't come within that certain period of time, there's a phone number for you to call where you can give some kind of correspondence. People can be ready for you to come and arrangements can be made. So there's no reason you shouldn't be able to get in here. You either get here during the time, call in advance, talk to somebody, and we work it out that way. So when people don't do that, what are some of the things they say? Oh, so you just gonna leave me out here in the cold? First of all, I didn't bring you out here in the cold. How can I leave you here? Like, how can I leave you somewhere I didn't bring you? Like if I say, hey, you need a ride, and we'll go somewhere and hop in, boom, and we make a stop at the gas station, and I pull off and don't take you with me. I left you there. You know, if we were both at home and I get ready to go somewhere, and I gotta bring you somewhere to leave you there, unless we were already at the same location, and we gotta both be at the same location. So I'm about to leave you in the cold. Shit, who put you in the cold? Did I tell you to come outdoors? No, we clearly don't have anywhere to go. That's why we're here. So it's not me putting you in the cold. It's your refusal or inability to adhere to the standards that put you in the cold. In all honesty, actuality, I'm completely detached from that whole shit. So all this shit he talking about, like I can't go to school because of my hair, can't get my education because of your hair. Um, that's the minor symptom. The reason you can't go to get you can get an education, you just can't do it at Barbers Hill, and it is because of your hair. It's not because of your hair objectively. It's not because of the fact that you have hair, or that you want to style it. You want to the way you've decided to carry your hair does not fall in line with the dress code. Once you get out of that school and you go somewhere else, you can wear your hair however the fuck you want. You can wear it's your hair. But you cannot be among my peers and enjoy my junior year because of your hair. No. Stop making it so emotional. It has nothing to do with somebody not wanting you to be around your peers. You didn't follow their rules. You took your legal right to appeal that shit up, and they don't agree with you. When's it gonna be the end of it? How long are we gonna keep this situation rehappening and rehashing until you get the desired result you want? Doesn't work. Doesn't fucking work. Continue. Matthew said that George will continue to serve in school suspension and that his attorneys plan to file for an injunction in an upcoming federal civil rights lawsuit. Barbers Hill Independent School District Superintendent Greg Poole said the ruling validated our position that the district's dress code does not violate the Crown Act and that the Crown Act does not give students unlimited self expression. The U.S. Supreme Court recently ruled that affirmative action is a violation of the 14th Amendment, and we believe the same reasoning will eventually be applied to the Crown Act. Poole previously told CNN, quote, hair length of male students is only constitutionally protected for Native American students. Didn't actually know that. The Texas Crown Act went into effect September 1st, 2023, and prohibits discrimination based on hairstyles that are commonly associated with a particular race or culture. Now, that is what that is, but that description is kind of vague. Like, it's just hella vague. prohibits discrimination based on hairstyles commonly associated with a particular race or culture. Like, I've seen white people with braided hair. Like, how do you not? I get it. I get it. That's the minority. It's the exception. But like, spell it out. Commonly associated with black people hairstyles. I think that's what you're trying to say. Um, this thing's dying. Yeah, but that's a lot of the problem with shit in general regarding this stems from the language. Like, this language is so evasive. Like, you got black people out here who are like afraid, unwilling, or unable to just say other black people, other black folk. It's like, see, in America, if you look like me, you don't look like me. As many people, I mean, I guess when it comes to black people, that shit's interchangeable. Somebody told me I look like Rich Homie Quan. Somebody else told me I look like I forget who the fuck it was, but it was some random like I had people tell me I look like Jameis Winston, like all kind of shit. Like, motherfuckers are just shuffling through the Rolodex. Next thing you know, I'm gonna look like that dude that made that one song, Heartbreak Anniversary. I don't look like that nigga. Just because we both black don't mean I look like him. Be specific. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm certain hairstyles associated with particular what particular race? What culture? Tired of all this vague ass dialogue. We need to understand shit. Continue on. How much more we got going to this shit? Because it's I don't. Okay, we'll read a little more. We will not stop. We will continue to speak truth to power. I guess I didn't. Texas State Representative Ron Reynolds, a co-author of the Crown Act, who testified at the trial on Georgia's behalf, said he was disappointed by the outcome. "Quote: We will not stop. We will continue to speak truth to power." Reynolds said, adding that if Georgia's appeal is unsuccessful, lawmakers will file out new legislation that will include hair length. "We know the purpose of the bill. The purpose of the legislation is to protect students like Darryl," he said. And perhaps so. But, like, protect him from what? Let me guess. Systemic racist policies and blah blah. Yeah. Sure, heard it all before. Like they said, if the appeal is unsuccessful, they gonna file new legislation that will include hair links. So it's like, if they don't get their way, they're gonna keep bitching and belly aching until they do. That's what they're saying. Like, if this shit don't work, we're just gonna try the next thing. If that doesn't work, we're gonna fucking try the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next goddamn thing. It's like, how many next things are you gonna try before you just accept defeat? It's like how you. It's like playing in a football game, losing, and then be like, hey on, man, like, no, but bro, give us one more possession, bro. One more possession. It don't matter if it's a 3 possession game, bro. If we get this possession, then we just don't need one more possession. It's like, no. The game clock has elapsed. When that happened, your score was less than the other team's. By the rules of the game, you fucking lose. You know? And it sucks because the only person that's really losing is him. All this shit over his hair. You can just get a different hairstyle until you graduate. You got junior, senior year. Like, you got one more year. It's not even like you got to shave it all off. Modify your hairstyle for a short period in time. Then once you graduate from this school and you can wear your hair however the fuck you want, it will feel so much better. It's not being bullied or being discriminated against. It's that victim narrative that make small shit like this seem like murder. Like, fuck, it's hairstyle, bro. Yeah, I've already. If you don't know the dress code, look it up. I've talked about it extensively in previous episodes. Blah blah blah. Below the eyebrows. Last September, the school district filed a declaratory judgment lawsuit asking the court to decide if Barbers Hill Independent School District's dress and grooming code policy limiting student hair length does not violate the Crown Act. George and his family have also filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against school officials and Texas state leaders, including Governor Greg Abbott, alleging that they have failed to enforce the state law and have caused emotional distress. Ooh, emotional distress. Oh, fuck. Yeah, so much emotional distress because you don't want to follow the fucking rules. Don't get me wrong. I don't, it's a close call. But, like, there are plenty of hairstyles where it's absolutely definitively acceptable. It's not no close call. So, like, part of the reason that this shit is a close call is because you won't concede. You are so locked into proving that you're being discriminated against that you're just costing him his fucking education. Like, he's not going to school over this shit, over a fucking hairstyle. Let it go. Let it go. This motherfucker could have been on a waiting list for another school and got into it without all this dress code debacle and the amount of time that you done spent hollering that you're being fucking discriminated against. You're not. Filing federal civil rights lawsuits over this shit. You got people standing out here protesting with picket signs over his fucking hair. Told reporters that spending most of his academic year isolated on the school suspension has been very lonely. Oh, it's been lonely? So what, that's your appeal? You just appealing to emotion? Like, yeah, well, I should be able to do this because I'm fucking lonely. That's like saying I should get some pussy because it's been a long ass 9 months without getting laid. 9 months without getting laid, man. I should just be able to get laid, even though the rules say clearly you can't fuck here. I've been lonely for these past 9 months, man. So y'all should consider that when you decide whether you're gonna uphold your rules or not. Like, I know you have rules, but I have feelings, and your rules should not supersede my feelings. Let's continue. I just started my dress for a reason, and that's just to feel close to my people, to feel my ancestors. That's not real. No, the fuck you didn't, man. I've never met anybody who exclusively like, man, yo, I'm just rocking these dresses to feel close to my people. What do you mean feel close to your people? Do you not live in a house with black folk? Are you not in the school full of black kids? How close do you need to be to your people to feel my ancestors? Once again, we're appealing to our goddamn emotions and feelings right now. I want to feel too close to my ancestors. If you want to feel that close, die and get buried. You can be under the ground right with their ass. There goes some more about feelings. It just makes me feel angry, very angry, that throughout all these years and throughout all the fighting for black history that we've done, that we still have to do this again and again and again. It's ridiculous. Um, His mother, Darisha, became emotional, more feelings, as she thanked supporters for making us stand strong. In January, Poole placed a full-page ad in the Houston Chronicle arguing that being an American requires conformity with the positive benefit of unity. What? Being an American requires conformity with the positive benefit of unity? What? That's an incoherent sentence. Barbers Hill ISD will continue to make decisions to protect and fight for the rights of its community to set the standard and expectations for our school district, even if that path takes us to the U.S. Supreme Court. Yeah, I don't quite understand what that sentence means. I think he's trying to. I think the PR that he was aiming for got in the way of him actually saying anything. But yeah, to close out and to talk about this whole feelings trip, because that's what all this shit is. It's just a trip on feelings, motherfuckers. I started my dreads for a reason, and that's just to feel close to my people. That's bullshit. Someone told him to say that. I don't. I highly doubt that it's just to feel close to my people. And even still, what the fuck has that got to do with the rules? That's like saying I just murdered him because I wanted him to feel closer to his people because all his people are dead. So I killed him because I felt like that would bring your feelings don't matter. I understand that you're lonely, but it's a punishment, kid. It's not designed to feel good. It's not designed to tickle you with laughter. All the fighting for the black history that we done, we still had to do this again. No, ma'am, this is not a fight for black history. It's actual black shit struggles going on, and this ain't one of them. You just won't let it go. The school said no, so you take it to this. That course said no, so you take it to this. Imagine if you just picked a different school. Your son would be learning. He'd be around some more black kids. This shit wouldn't even be talked about. But you don't know when to fucking stop. Wokeness will not prevail because there are people out there with rational minds who still use their brains to think and to navigate this sticky ass world we live in. You want to stay woke at the expense of your son's education, at the expense of him feeling close to his ancestors? Get your ancestors to come from the dead and teach you then. In the meantime, it's still rules and regulations you got to follow. And ain't no amount of emotional blackmail going to put you above policy. Sorry, kiddo. Doesn't work that way. Alrighty. Let's keep the train rolling here. What are we looking at? courtesy of Newsweek, U.S. biology textbooks promoting misguided assumptions on sex and gender. Shocker, right? Motherfuckers, sex and gender, the fucking two words that have just become so interchangeable and so meaningful. Like I first heard this joke on Family Guy, but then I realized it wasn't a joke. Like, excuse me. We live in a world where fucking penises and vaginas don't matter anymore. Like, what difference does it make what you have? The only thing that matters is how you feel. And we can see just from the last segment how this feeling shit pans out. Like, ladies and gentlemen, including myself, the real honest to God truth is when it comes to your feelings, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck about your feelings, like intrinsically. Like people hear you out, understand you need to vent, you need to get shit off your chest, but like I cannot ultimately give more of a fuck about something that's not. I'm not gonna have to deal with the consequence of it. Like this is your life. Like if you feel something some type of way about something, do something about it. And then when you do something about it, be prepared to. This doesn't feel right. Yeah. Be prepared to accept the consequences of your action. Like it's just a series of decisions. Like all these emotions and shit. Emotions don't make decisions; they influence them. Like that's because you feel some type of way don't mean you have to engage with that feeling. Like just because you're upset doesn't mean you can't find happiness. It's a choice. It's up to you. You know. So but anywho, let's see about this whole promoting misguided assumptions. So what the fuck promoting a misguided assumption on sex and gender? Like it's Newsweek. You can pretty much be guaranteed that I think I don't want to say you pretty much can be guaranteed. I think they're gonna be on the wrong side of this. Like, but then again, what's the right side? Who knows? Is everything is boiled down to some subjective, arbitrary bullshit. Um, Textbooks used in U.S. schools are teaching kids and teenagers an outdated view of sex and gender. You know what? It just dawned on me that I can fucking use my tool and get my transitions. Hang on a second. I forgot I can use this fucking thing again. It will help me out tremendously. Tremendous. I'll do it on the next segment because I see. Oh no, we got some right here. Yeah, I'll do it later because I can. That I really need that. But yeah, textbooks used in U.S. schools are teaching kids and teenagers an outdated view of sex and gender, according to research. A new study published in the journal Science analyzed six of the oh god, new study analyzed six of the most widely used high school biology textbooks in the United States and found that most of them conflate sex and gender, which are considered two separate concepts by scientists. Yeah, scientists, huh? What about reality? What about reality? Hmm. Does and what scientists? Two separate concepts by scientists. So what the fuck does that mean? Oh, because a couple scientists said sex and gender are different. It is like it just is. Oh well, I guarantee you I can find some scientists who don't consider them two separate concepts. You know, they both deal largely with the same thing. It used to just be sex. Like this gender shit is more of self-expression. Like it's you don't get to self-express your sex as much as you get to self-express your gender. Like that's how it's largely described. Like oh, what am I feeling? What do I identify as? Blah 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 blah. It's like it doesn't work like that in reality. It can work like that in your mind, but it doesn't work like that in reality. So I don't know what the fuck these people are talking about. Two separate concepts by scientists. That's bullshit. Instead, these textbooks focus on a more essentialist view of sex and gender. The idea that sex and gender are interchangeable and men and women are fundamentally different, which the researchers note may lead to discrimination towards women and gender non-conforming people. Okay, so I'm gonna play a clip from "What Is a Woman" if I can find it, but I just want to get through this whole section right here that you can see on screen. Uh, Instead, quote: Our study suggests that the material that adolescents are exposed to in school textbooks might itself, even if unintentionally, be a source of essentialist ideas. Paper co-author Brian Donovan, a senior research scientist at BSCS Science Learning, a nonprofit organization in Colorado Springs, said in a statement. Well, that seems like a pretty legit place to get your science learning from, a place where the first two initials is BS. Bullshit Colorado Science, Colorado Springs. That's what that shit stands for. Bullshit Colorado Springs. Quote, it's not unusual for textbooks to discuss ideas that were considered accurate early in the history of science, science and are now known to be incomplete. But essentialism is not a scientific model. It's an overly simplistic lay view that is at odds with the scientific consensus on sex and gender, Donovan said. Oh, I keep fucking up. It should have no place in the biology curriculum. Okay, first of all, you should have no place in the biology curriculum because what the fuck are you even talking about? So, real quick, there's a clip as far as this whole essentialist shit. Where I first heard these people talk about that was when I seen What Is a Woman. So we're gonna do a little hunt. I'm gonna see if I can pull this clip up where he was basically asking them, "What is a woman? What is that?" And he's like, "You're providing what they would call an essential." Huh? Which one? That the dude left? Them bitches sat in here for like 2 days. They was old. They got tossed out. Yeah. Yep. Sorry about that. Fucking But yeah, like we gonna do a hunt. I'm gonna find this clip where he's talking about, well, I think what you're asking me to give you is an essentialist definition of what a woman is. Like essentialist, you mean like essentially that's what it is? Like a woman is a fucking not a man. A woman is a human with female reproductive organs and a man. Oh, that yeah. Well, that you're just getting all the essentials. We're focused on the non-essentials. Fuck. So let's look for this shit real quick. I gotta go. Nah, you know what? I have to. I cannot stand to look at my YouTube when I'm not logged into my YouTube. It's a completely different experience. So I'm gonna have to like really go under the hood here. But we should be able to find it real quick. Let me see. What is a woman? Essentialist? No. What is a woman college professor? Let's see if I can jump right to it. Yep, here we go. How long is it? Doesn't give me the link. Oh, okay, so yeah, it's not super long. It's only a couple minutes. Great. So let me just go under the hood here and fuck shit up. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang. All right. Get everything situated here. It's probably going to play prematurely. I'm trying to get it not to do that. Boom. There we go. Okay. Almost there. All right. I can tell my shit's probably running a little slow. So we're going to hesitate for a second. Got that right. And okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Whoops. All right.
What is a woman? So what is a woman?
Why do you ask that question?
Instant bullshit. Why do you ask that question? Like, if I was to say, like, bro, what is a basketball? You wouldn't sit there and think about it and be like, why do you want to know what a basketball is? Like, what tell me why you're interested in the basketball. Like, bro, I thought I was interviewing you. The fuck? But let's continue.
I just really like to know.
What do you think the answer to that question is?
Well, I'm asking. That's why I came to a college professor who's this is what you do.
What other kinds of answers have you gotten?
A lot of like this, where you're not answering. You've gotten a lot of that. So
I think it's interesting that you say that some of the people you've interviewed have been reluctant to answer it, and I think that has a lot to do with the questions that preceded it, and the way that you've conducted yourself in the interview.
How have I conducted myself?
How do you think you've conducted yourself?
You just really don't want to answer the questions, do you?
I came today very willing and enthusiastic about answering questions about women's and gender sexuality studies, which is the work that I do.
You wanted to answer questions about women's studies, and so shouldn't The first answer you should be able to provide is what exactly is a woman?
Well, for me, it's actually a really simple answer, and that's a person who identifies as a woman.
But what are they identifying as?
As a woman.
But what is that?
As a woman.
Do you know what a circular definition is?
I do.
It's sort of like what you're doing right now, where a woman is a woman.
Mm-hmm. Well, because you're seeking what we would call in my field of work an essentialist definition of gender. I think it sounds like you would like me to give you a set of
Let's hear that again. Let's...
Well, because you're seeking what we would call in my field of work an essentialist definition of gender. I think it sounds like you would like me to give you a set of biological or cultural characteristics that are associated with one gender or the other.
I'm not seeking any type of definition. I'm just seeking a definition.
Yeah, and I gave you one.
Yeah, and I gave you one. So salty about it, like an essentialist definition. So, like, to these people, an essentialist definition is essentially is breeding out everything that would make you consider this an essential definition. Like, what is a fucking woman? Like, where's the essentialism in that? Like, everything that's essential would be the characteristics which you think he's trying to lead you to say. Like, those are the things that comprise a woman. And it's all the things that you're not willing to say for like some real weird reason. Like, it's weird energy that you just won't clearly define what a woman is, or you like gotta tiptoe through this fucking real thin labyrinth of just words. It's like, well, I mean, it depends on who you ask, because sometimes people feel like women are a bit like, no, none of that. All that shit you saying is bullshit. None of that. Okay? All right, cool. So let's get the fuck out of here. All right. So let's keep going through this horse shit. All right. So yeah, apparently so they're I just wanted to touch on that essentialist shit because it's the way they categorize bullshit. So we need to understand that essentialist definition is essentially everything you need to know bred out. Ironically enough. So the 6 textbooks studied in this paper were published between 2009 and 2016 and comprised about 2/3 of the introductory high school biology classes across the U.S. They found that none of these textbooks differentiated between sex and gender as different concepts, which goes against the scientific literature-backed view that sex is a biological phenomenon and that gender is a sociological construct. So what are they saying? None of these textbooks differentiated between sex and gender as different concept, which goes against the fictional scientific literature backed view. Like, they always say, oh, because somebody wrote a book about it, now it's backed by literature. Like, oh, so you mean because somebody put words on a sheet of paper, it's just true? Just open your eyes. Like, there's no real world evidence to firmly corroborate this shit consistently across the board. Scientific study into sex and gender makes it clear that while sex and gender are often referred to interchangeably, they actually refer to different aspects of identity. Sex typically refers to the biological characteristics that define male and female bodies, such as reproductive organs, chromosomes, and hormones. While most people fit into either the male or female sex, there are some people who do not fit into the categories of male or female. Intersex individuals, for example, may have variations in sex characteristics that do not typically blah, blah, blah. Okay, so yeah. We've already established that these people love to drag other motherfuckers into their fight. Like, the intersex people have had no say. They're just like, oh, I seen somebody over there with a dick and a pussy. Like, yeah, they get it. And they just over here trying, like, bro, I'm just trying to talk to my doctor. What do you mean I get it? What are you talking about? I don't know you. I don't know you, what the fuck you're talking about, why I should care. Most people fit into either, like, who determines where you fit? Like, if it's up to you and your understanding of the world to determine where you fit, where's the objectivity? Like, where's the, it's just kind of like if you share office with somebody, like, there's a way you have to leave things so when the person comes in behind you, they can easily access, they don't have to undo you. They can just work through the office. Like, there's a filing cabinet where you put shit So anybody who needs to look for said shit can come in here whether you are here or not and figure it out. The way you people are narrating your life is like every time I come into the office, it's rearranged, and I have to put it back how I have it. There's no objectivity. Like wherever the fucking erasers was yesterday, they might not be there today after you come in because it's subject to how you think the office should be and not how the office actually is. I shouldn't have to come in the office every day and rebuild the motherfucker because you were here. That's based on your subjective view of how the office should work and not the objective function of the office. It's fucking stupid. It's patently stupid. It's dangerously fucking stupid. All this hoopla about gender and sex, gender and social. Okay, so like, if sex is biological, and we can all agree that biologicals on we can all agree on particular areas of things being biologically fact, like like it's not saying like, well, trans women have one arm and regular women have two arms. Like, no, certain objective biological certain biological categories, like particular aspects of it are objective. So like, where's the objectivity in gender? If gender is just how you feel, what about how I feel about how you feel? That's a feeling. So we don't gotta. Or what about how you feel about how I feel? That's also a feeling. See how that's just messy? It's just messy. You can't keep track of this shit. Next thing you know, you got 75 fucking genders. There's no uniformity amongst any of them, and they change by the day. Like, the fuck? Just doesn't make sense. So, I mean, uh, we clearly see this shit is jaded. Like, these motherfuckers talking about like, oh, they're not saying that there's a difference between sex and gender in the textbooks, and that makes something wrong with them. Okay, so what about all the textbooks that existed forever up until now? That's just how the shit is. But I'm just gonna read these quick little paragraphs real quick. Get this dumbass shit off my damn screen, and fuck your mind up even further in the process if you believe any of this horse shit. Gender, on the other hand, is a social and cultural construct that refers to the roles, behaviors, and activities and attributes that a given society considers appropriate for men, women, and people of other gender identities. Gender identity is how individuals perceive themselves and what they call themselves. It may or may not align with the sex that they were assigned at birth, which, nobody assigns you sex at birth. It's determined well before the baby's born. Gender identity exists on a spectrum and in a vacuum and can include identities such as male, female, non-binary, genderqueer, gender fluid, and among others. Like everything I just got done saying is just a casserole. I'm supposed to be reading. I'm sorry. Therefore, while sex typically refers to biological characteristics, gender refers to societal and cultural roles and identities. While they are often aligned, example, someone assigned female at birth typically identifies as a woman. They are not always the same, and individuals may identify with a gender that does not align with their biological sex. Overall, overall in which the ways textbooks describe sex and gender are more consistent with essentialism than the scientific consensus on these topics. Where the fuck is the scientific consensus on these topics? Where are you getting that from? The scientific consensus on these topics. Like, you keep speaking about this magical scientific consensus like it's some guild of fucking elite intellectuals who just unilaterally decided, like, hey, this is what it is. You got just it's just like people who got to drop their title every time you challenge them on something. Say, hey, why is this? Well, look, I'm the fucking CEO. Okay, I'm the TFB. I'm the DWY. It's like, well, if you're that, why the fuck do I need to know about it? People in charge don't need to go around saying, hey, buddy, remember, I'm your boss. No, they go around calling shots. The fact that you have to constantly fucking the fact you have to qualify yourself repeatedly, and just don't forget it's backed by science. Don't forget some people somewhere did studies on this shit, and it goes against what they said. Okay, well, are we going to discuss why it goes against what they said? Do we ever talk about why? These motherfuckers hate to talk about why, and they love to talk about that. They never want to talk about why. Now ask yourself, why would you never want to talk about why something happened? Like, if when they put you on the stand, they tell you to answer the questions that you're asked. Don't be up there providing extra details and shit. And why would they say that? Because these details are going to shed light on things that you don't want to be known. If you have to explain this shit, that means you run the risk of somebody saying, like, hey, whoa, this shit doesn't make sense. It doesn't scan. It doesn't add up at all. So that's why they need to constantly refer you back to these so-called scholars and scientific back bullshit. Because without that, the shit doesn't have a leg to stand on in a conversation with at least two people who brains function normally, who can who can who can who can interpret common sense like effectively. Like the fuck, this just not a conversation for anybody who's in the real world, who's actualized, who's not on this neurotic wavelength of just insanity. It's what the fuck it is, man. So, long story short, the textbooks are just fine. It's the people who have the problem, not the textbooks. The textbooks that mention that men can't be women and women can't be men. There is no third sex. All that, they're accurate. The ones that are inaccurate are the people challenging this shit because they're certifiably fucking insane and they need to be ignored at your earliest convenience. Convenience. Whatever. You know what the fuck I'm trying to say. Thank you. Next. Fuck out of here. All right, y'all. Let's wrap this up. This one, this headline I'm about to bring up makes me happy. Cause it's indicative of steps forward in the right direction regarding this whole trans athletes and sports and shit, which is clearly stupid. First of all, clearly a terrible idea. Like, you could be blind, deaf, and dumb and still know that this is a terrible idea. You could be robbed of all your sensory input mechanisms whatsoever, and like you could be like, oh, that's stupid. Clearly stupid. Why the fuck would you guys want to do that? But yeah, here we go. Courtesy of New York Post. Trans athletes banned from girls' sports at Nassau County's 100 facilities. So I ain't gonna lie, like when I first read this headline, I was confused. I'm like, wait, so they banning women from coming into the shit? But like what's happening is in this Nassau County, if anywhere that permits female sports does not make a pledge to remove all transgender athletes, then those female sport groups are banned. So if the female sporting groups do not if they want these men in their fucking sports, then you cannot sport here. That's how that's going. And like, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. This is what it is. This is how you say, look, we're done talking. All that talking and shit is dead. What the fuck is there to talk about? Like what is there to talk about? More people just say, hey, but gender affirming, and they're on their hormones, and when they take the pills, the bone density, and shut up, kill it. It's a wrap. Too much fucking discussion. There is no need for a forum on why biological males do not need to participate in sports with biological females, unless it's like what, pickleball or like fucking darts or like chess or something like that. Not in the physical realm. Intellectually, mind, technique, whatever. If you want more power, but there have always been men's and women's sports sections in everything since the beginning of ever. It's pretty soon. It's not gonna be long before you hear one of these fucking trans activists talking about, oh well, there's evidence of trans people performing in one of the first Olympics and blah blah blah. No, they haven't. Not true. Fuck that narrative you talking about. That has not happened. I know that has not happened, even though I was not there. Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense. We were actually smarter back then, and we was never dumb enough to go on a fucking spiral this deep of some real basic bonehead ass shit. So let me go ahead and pull this shit up real quick right here, real quick. All right, Female sports teams and leagues will now be banned from using any of Nassau County's 100 ball fields and athletic facilities unless they pledge to keep out transgender players. The bombshell executive order, believed to be the first of its kind in the nation, will go into effect immediately, Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman announced Thursday. Quote, there is too much bullying going on of biological males trying to inject themselves in women and female sports, and we will not tolerate that in Nassau County, Blakeman said at a news conference. The Republican county leader said his order only applies to female competitive sports, not co-ed sports or sports where biological females want to compete against males. Female competitive sports. I mean, even with that distinction, fucking great. Absolutely great. Like, somebody needs to put their foot down and we need to collectively sigh this shit away. Like, it's dumb. Okay. No more trans women in sports conversation. Maybe, you know, how they like to do these little slippery slope things where if it happens in one place, then this other place tries it, then this other place tries it. Then next thing you know, we're back to fucking normal. We don't have to say, hey, you know, we'd appreciate it if you could keep the men out of women's sport. We just know, oh, it's already been that way. And what do you think? The UFC is gonna go put Alex Pereira in there with fucking Amanda Nunes or something? Yeah. Good luck with that. To continue, we are protecting girls' rights to compete against other girls, he told the Post prior to the order coming down. It makes no sense for biological boys who identify as transgender to compete against girls. It's completely unfair. Biological boys are faster, bigger, stronger. They have a physical advantage against women. It's like, now when you hear somebody say, just generally speaking, if you was to hear somebody say, hey, men have a physical advantage, men run a little faster, jump a little higher, you know, men are a little stronger than women. Like, what's outrageous about that statement? Like, as a woman, do you hear that and it's like, no, there's some women that are stronger than men. It's like, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. But generally speaking, on average, like if you was to just go at random, snatch a man from the population, at random, snatch a woman from the population, and make them compete in a physical athletic task, the women are going to get demolished. I've been seeing all kind of articles about how some girl just beat a bunch of boys in her school at wrestling and shit. It's like, okay, you beat some high school boys. Wait till you fully mature and grow up and become an adult woman and then go against the adult men and your career's over. You're going to have to find somewhere else to be a fraud. Fuck, just because you beat some boys more power to you. If you beat the boys at a high school wrestling, more power to you. Congratulations, that is what it's worth. Like, I'm not mad at that. What I'm mad at is if you're going to use that and try to insinuate that this is some type of formula for the future, that this shit can keep happening. I already did the one, 25 episodes ago about the girl who tried to play football. She played in one play and they talked about like it was so fucking historic. I just seen a video the other day on YouTube. They have like it was like in Brazil or something. They have these SWAT team competitions where like everybody gets together, they SWAT team, and they do like some American Ninja Warrior type shit. They just like run through the obstacle course or whatever. The first obstacle with the female SWAT team, which doesn't exist in reality, like I've never seen a female SWAT team. There might have been a female on it, but an all-female SWAT team, no, that's just no, it doesn't exist. But like the first thing they had to do was they had to run out, and then like it was like this zip line hanging over a moat, like it's like a little pool of water, and you got the zip line up here, and they just go boom, they got a zip line across that shit, and they fucking get stuck. Like you just got four women just hanging on this shit. They trying to like kick each other, like they trying to create like a kick momentum where like you kick me in the back and I kick you in the back, and we like the pendulous balls where it's like doesn't work. They all fall into the water. They have to get back and restart. They don't even end. One of them like gets across with assistance. As a collective, they fail miserably. Miserably. It was fucking hilarious. And then they show the guys get out there and do it just boom, 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 boom. Just take out running. All of them get across on their own volition. No assistance needed. No handicap whatsoever. And you're gonna look at that and be like, oh, well, the guys were just more prepared. Just more prepared. This is a fucking SWAT team competition. How the fuck do you be SWAT team unprepared? It's SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics. Not special weapons and tactics, probably. No, motherfucker, you come prepared. So like what's the excuse? You can't say, oh, maybe they were on their period. You can't say that. That's sexist. Can't suggest it just because you're women and you're inferior in the physical realm. That's sexist. Might be true, but it's sexist first. Fuck the truth. The truth doesn't matter as opposed to what type of ism you can launch before that shit. Like the ism always takes priority. Fuck truth. Truth is the absolute last quality that's valued in things, if it's valued at all. First, motherfuckers think about how it makes them feel. Is it gonna make them any money? Does it fuck you over? And then is it true? Maybe. Is it true? Maybe if they still got any energy left once they get through the first 3 steps, then we can talk about that truth shit. But who really gives a fuck about the truth? I mean, it's just how things actually are. But like, why do we gotta live in a world where things are how it actually is? Everybody hates themselves. Everybody hates being a fucking American, but they won't fucking leave. Even here at the shelter, people complain, this food nasty. I got that. Well, get your own fucking place. Simple fix. Not easy, but simple. If you have your own place to live, you don't have to share living with other unsavory, unknown motherfuckers. That's just facts. Sorry. Don't give a fuck how you feel about it. Facts have never given a fuck about your goddamn feelings, and they're not going to start. They shouldn't start. Fuck your feelings. Fuck mine, too. That's what somebody's out there saying anyway. You know? Yeah. Continue. Do I got this shit on the right screen? Yeah, okay. The county's trans ban order was unveiled as officials engaged in talks with sports leagues about licensing local facilities for the spring and summer, including a swimming center, baseball, softball, and soccer fields and tennis courts. The Eisenhower Aquatic Center in East Meadow is home to the annual Big East College Swimming Championship. The action comes amid ongoing controversy over trans participation in sports, which kicked off after several transgender athletes started smashing records when they switched over to compete against biological females. In New Jersey, trans swimmer Megan Cortez Field, who competed on the men's Ramapo college team for 3 years, broke multiple women's collegiate records earlier this month. And see, the crazy part is these motherfuckers will just deny it. They'll deny it outright. Like, you'll have evidence like that, motherfucker smashing records, and they'll just say, yeah, that's not happening. Like, what the fuck do you mean it's not happening? There's clear evidence. Like I just said, the truth doesn't matter to them. If it's actually happening, that's the last thing they're worried about. They're worried about everything besides why. Like, all the details surrounding a situation are irrelevant. Only thing that matters is how they perceive it and how it makes them feel and how it serves whatever current interest is priority number one for them at that moment. Their whole existence is a passing fantasy. Blakeman said he decided to ban biological boys who identify as transgender girls within the past month after hearing complaints from parents and female athletes in Nassau County. It's fucked up that that's what it even took. You know? They voiced opposition. They think it's discrimination against girls. Avery Graziosi, a 14-year-old freshman at Long Beach High School who attended the press conference in support, agreed. The competition in girls' sports is already competitive without adding people who have more genetic capabilities, people who are stronger. Men have more physical capabilities. The team who plays volleyball and softball told the Post. See, now what's fucked up about that statement is this young teenage girl, what's her name? Avery Graziosi. I think I said Grazioli the first time. My apologies, Graziosi. She's sexist. She is sexist against women. That's what this is. Like, to say men just have more physical capability. What the fuck does she know? What do you know? All you gotta do is identify as a man, and you get all the things that men get. You get now. Just identify as a man and then sign up for the NBA tomorrow, man. You can totally fucking do that shit. Just what you need to do is stop being sexist. Stop getting out here telling people that men are stronger, that girls are not as competitive when it comes to men. I don't want to hear that shit. Take that sexist ass narrative and shove it up your ass, okay? Women can do anything, whatever they are, whatever a woman. I'm not sure what a woman is, but once I figure out what it is, they can do anything they want. And men can be women. All you gotta do is go to mencanbewomen.com, fill out a brief 2-minute form, print that shit out. Boom, you a bitch. There you go. Bitched out. We're already competing at a high level, to a high standard, she added. The competition is intense, getting better and better each year. Why add unreasonable standards that we couldn't possibly compete with? See, I can't tolerate all this sexist language from this girl. She keeps saying women can't compete with men, and this shit's pissing me off, bro. Yes, they fucking can. Yes, they can, bro. Don't you see all these women coming to your sport, smashing the records? These aren't men. They're beautiful, stunning, and brave women. And you know, as a matter of fact, I'm not even going to sit here and entertain any more of this sexist ass article from this teenage girl and her lived experience. Like, what the fuck? You say the competition's getting hard. Well, that means you just need to get better. Don't blame women who are actually men. Don't blame these women men for coming over and shattering all your records. You just need to get better. Hit the gym, get big, get a trainer. You know, all you gotta do is work harder. To blame trans women for the reason why you now suck in your own sport is sexist. It's transphobic, and you shouldn't do it. Stop being sexist. Hit the fucking gym. Put the work in. Put the time in. Stop complaining. Talk about physical. Man, men ain't got no physical advantages over women. What the fuck? Name one man that's got a physical advantage over. Matter of fact, name one man that's got a physical advantage over a woman. You said almost all of them? No, no. Sexist. In the conversation. You know what? We just gonna have to wrap this up because I've just realized that I've been on the wrong side of this issue the entire time. You know, I've been over here saying that women need to be, but like we can't even define what a woman is. I'm scared to be sexist. Like this Avery Grisio, she's super sexist. She ought to be ashamed of herself. Who are her fucking parents, allowing her to make these sexist ass true statements? Where they at? Because you guys are setting your daughter up for failure by telling her she can't compete amongst women, which are men. Fuck what they actually are. All like I said, mencanbewomen.com, 2-minute form. Once you fill that form out, I don't want to hear shit. The nigga did the paperwork. He a bitch now. That's that. So, hopefully at this point you can realize that I'm speaking ironically. I'm being very, very sarcastic. I don't actually believe that shit. Just gotta say it, you know, because motherfuckers be like, well, hang on a second. But you just said, like, no, I understand. I understand that there are stupid people who exist. And I also understand that I vastly underestimate the number of stupid people out there. I'm aware of those things. But this is just why this conversation has got to stop. Because, like, just for a minute right there, I couldn't even take myself seriously. I can't even take myself seriously mocking a foolish ass, nonsensical discussion. Because none of it's serious. These people don't believe this shit. There's a hidden agenda, there's an ulterior motive somewhere, and the goal would be to figure that out and destroy the fuck out of it. But, you know, excuse me, apparently that's not the world we live in. As I said, penises and vaginas don't matter anymore. The only thing that matters is what you feel in the current moment to fulfill whatever desire is loudest in your mind right now. And as long as we keep that up, you know, we're going to have discussions about why men shouldn't absolutely fucking cream women in sports and why things should just be left alone in that area. And the conversation should not be had anymore. If somebody, I don't give a fuck if you've known this person for 30 years, if they walk up to you and they say, hey, you know what, I think these trans women in sport, cut them off. Leave. Walk away. Never speak to that person again. Even if they change their mind, you shouldn't have fucked up. It's too late. This is an open and shut topic. Always has been. Always will be. Get the fuck off my screen. Yo, that's the show. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Until next time, I holla.